I want to read a comment from the chat because I thought it was pretty good. So Jason Shmuley said, inequality is a cornerstone of Western civilization. If we had equality, we would be just like classic China, where we'd own 2 inches of land and be starving, while autocrats help crack down on anyone who tries to live a good life.
Yeah.
And, going back to Bynum at the very beginning, in this post-truth society, why in the world is it his job to ensure outcomes? Well, we've eliminated
Ensure
God
the impossible. You
from
cannot
society.
ensure outcomes.
No, you can't. Well, that's God's job, right? He is the arbiter of justice, and now the state has stepped in, and they're going to dictate egalitarianism and outcomes, just like God.
You're saying the name of God is G.T. Bynum?
That's what Biden thinks. Perhaps.
Okay, let me ask, who's that Baltimore congressman that Trump's been got? Cummings.
Yeah, Elijah Cummings.
Elijah Cummings.
One of the greatest humans ever to live.
Went after the Immigration and Naturalization Services had at a recent hearing, and he started getting all worked up, chewed up. He said, "We wouldn't subject our kids to living in such filth." And then,
meanwhile, in Baltimore,
then the former mayor on TV on the news talks about how bad the filth is in Baltimore.
Right.
And he's done nothing about it. Congratulations, Trump.
Well,
perfectly played card.
And Trump had the right idea with this Gang of Four when he, attacked them without mentioning their names, right? He said idiot, and 4 people stood up. And, oh, okay. Well, if the shoe fits, right? It is this big problem with leftism, and it's a little bit what Jordan Peterson's been talking about, but it predates that, Hey, fix your own problems before you start dictating other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
These 4 ladies come from some of the worst, corrupt societies of human suffering and dens of depravity in the history of the world. Their heritage. Maybe they didn't immigrate there directly, but their parents
New
did.
York, Minneapolis.
Well, and even even where they live right now. And so you get these guys like Cummings, and you've got these Californians, and they have filth on the street and heroin needles and record expatriation and immigration and they want to sit here and talk to the most successful society or sets of places in the history of the world and say, you know what, you ought to really do what I say when their tire heap of refuse is on fire.
Right, literally.
Yeah, and I would say, as a former Minneapolis resident, I pastored there in Minneapolis for a while, it has some beautiful places, just like Baltimore has some beautiful places. It also has some bad places. But yeah, it's the height of hypocrisy for him, Cummings, to, decry how terrible the Hispanics have it. And he's compassionate. But when Trump decries how bad some of the blacks have it, why, that's racism.
According to the equity information, Trump has created an economy that has served the Hispanic and black communities better than any time ever recorded.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Just like Hitler would do.
Well, sure.
Yeah. He'd have Jewish grandchildren and Jewish children, and he would support them. Just like Hitler. He would move the capital of Jerusalem, he'd recognize it, to Jerusalem, as the Jews won. What you realize now about Hitler, apparently, he was very pro-Israel and very pro-minority, according to the left, because, the left says Orange Man bad, just like Hitler.
Hardly anybody gave more to the Catholic Church diocese in Chicago than Al Capone. He was one of the most giving people to the church. So
Wow, that sounds like our government today.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Where are we?
We're doing pretty good.
There's some pretty tall weeds.
It's 3